Is Forza Motorsport actually truly dead? This past week we got news of Xbox laying off a ton of people in their gaming division. From what the news is telling us right now, Forza Motorsport, the actual franchise, might be gone for good. The team at Turn 10 have essentially been gutted. More than half of the team, or around half the team, were let go. The rest of them apparently are going to be going over to the Horizon crew as like a support team. But yeah, I'm not happy, and I just want to get some thoughts out about it and also speak just about where Forza's gonna possibly be going from here. So this is my notebook. Let's take a look. Forza holds a special place in my heart. I mean, I've been playing racing games since I was a young kid, and I started playing things on things like DOS. So, I like a lot of different racing franchises and game franchises. So it's a bummer to me to have one of them potentially, bite the dust. And I've been playing a lot of Forza, on Xbox over the years. And I've really enjoyed this current Forza Motorsport as, more and more as it's been going along, despite having a lot of problems. But, Forza Motorsport 4 was incredible. 6 was incredible. And all the ones in between were pretty good too. So, if this is really going to be the end of it, it's going to be quite a big bummer. I'm really just not happy to hear about this. One of the reasons I'm sort of tied, I feel a little bit close to this now as well, is as a Nick's Notebook. My first ever Nick's Notebook video was about Forza Motorsport. So it's kind of weird to, within only a year and a bit, be bookending what is potentially, is it good now to is it dead now? And that's kind of upsetting. I recently did my last, one of my recent videos that I just did, again, was another look at Forza to see where is it. And you know what? I think it had just gotten there. I think we're just at the point where Forza Motorsport finally feels like the kind of game you would have wanted when it came out. It's feeling like they've started nailing down everything. It's still got some issues, but the AI is that bit better. The multiplayer's got new features that make it better. There's a lot more content. There's a ton of nice maps or tracks to play on. So there was a lot going for it. And yes, I want, as I said, it's got some issues, and I'd like to see those issues still get fixed and resolved and improved, because I would like it to succeed. But now, that we hear that it might be going away, it just kind of sucks. This is just something that is so puzzling to me, because Forza was an important franchise to Microsoft. This is something that was alongside, Halo and Gears of War and things like that. And yes, racing games don't draw crowds like they used to back in the day, these battles of, and it was really started by Gran Turismo and how much of a showpiece that was. But just like I said in a previous or recent video that I made about the way things are going for the sort of console wars, competition is so good. Competition is what makes things, really, really thrive. And we're losing more and more of that. And this is a situation where it's going to be a sad day if we lose Forza, and I don't know if we're going to get anything in its place. Forza Horizon is carrying on, and I mean, I love Forza Horizon. It's awesome, and I'm sure that many of you have played it and you like it as well. And it is not even arguably the more popular sort of mainstream franchise. It's definitely better, in that way. It's going to appeal to everyone. Forza Horizon 5 won Game of the Year at a lot of places, notably places like IGN, which do have a lot of followers and a lot of kick behind, whatever they say. The thing, though, is that Forza Motorsport was in such a good place now that it was just in the right place, along with the rest of Microsoft's weird up and down strategy, to take it and move it over to other platforms. They were at the right point now where it was a valuable enough, solid enough game that they could say, cool, let's go put this thing on PS5. Let's go put this thing even on the Switch 2. Let's expand the player base. Let's try and get things, going here on the PS5. There are enough people there and enough Gran Turismo fans that might be curious to try out Forza after hearing about it on that other platform they don't play, that, there was good potential there. And now, it remains to be seen if something like this might actually happen. I don't know if the smaller crew or maybe a contractor might be brought in to maybe do something like move or still port this thing over to see if they can keep it going. But who's going to want to get too invested in a game franchise right now that, who's going to want to go on a PS5 or a Switch and pay money to play this thing when they know that it's not going to be supported going forward? But, who knows? Maybe they decide to move it to some sort of free-to-play release or something to just try and get something out of it and then sell DLC. I don't know. It's possibly never going to happen. I'm not entirely sure. But it feels to me like this would be a bit of a loss for them to sort of make more get more return on this investment of this time that they've put into this. And what really annoys me is that they've done this to themselves. They pulled out Dan Greenwald, who was in charge of Forza, to go move him into another position. So they've changed up the team and they changed up leadership, and that wasn't necessarily the problem, but they're taking a beloved franchise, and I'm sure a lot of people who are at turn 10 who want to make great games, and they want to make a good racing game and a good single player experience as well. And these people are being forced to push things more towards live service because shareholders want to see growth and they want to see money, and they all want a part of this live service cash cow, and they get forced to release a game that is less like the one they would probably want to make. And on top of that, with the way it was released in bad shape, it wasn't great, it had bugs, it had issues, it just, ongoing problems, didn't have enough content. So, there was you could see the potential in it, but then you could see where it had gone wrong. So now we have a situation where it might die. They might, they're closing off a lot. I mean, it's, the way Xbox and the way Microsoft is just culling, employees right now to go and shove more money into their AI initiatives that no one really wants, but they just want to pump money into because they see it as the next big thing for their pockets. We're getting casualties like this. So I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know if the Forza franchise is truly going to be dead after this, or if there's anything that could be saved or, sort of recovered from all of this. I would really like to see this franchise continue. And again, I do know that this is a franchise that's not as popular as it used to be. But heck, I don't know. This reminds me of Hi-Fi Rush, where they get Tango Gameworks, they make a great game, and then what do? They shut down the studio right after, and then immediately say that no, Tango Gameworks nailed everything that they were supposed to nail when it came to that. So what on earth do people need to do to keep their jobs around here? So I would like to at least try and somehow end this on some sort of an interesting or positive note, in a way, of what I would love to see, or something that has been on my mind for a few years that it's never seemed like it was likely or possible to me, but it could happen now. So I mean, it's worth mentioning just for the hell of it. That's why I do these notebooks. But I've always had this idea that it would be really cool to do something of a game like what I called Forza World. Now, with Mario Kart World just coming out, it's actually quite, sort of ironic, this timing, which essentially, Mario Kart World, what made it interesting is that there's this open world, but you're cruising around between different tracks, and those tracks, so it's kind of like Horizon, but it's kind of like, Forza Motorsport, because it was open world areas, point to point, but then there's still these tracks you can get to. We saw stuff in The Crew as well, where there were certain tracks. I think it was The Crew, where you could get to like Laguna Seca, for example, and actually go on a very wonky version of it, but you could. I would love to see them take the Turn 10 people that they've got and try and absorb that into Horizon in a way that maybe, because look, let me just be clear as well. The reason I never saw Forza World working was because they have Forza Motorsport, they have Forza Horizon. Why would they merge them and sort of lose two different, sellable franchises? But if Forza Motorsport's going to be gone, I would so love to see something be done where they could absorb it somehow into Forza Horizon, so that we could maybe get the tracks from Forza Motorsport into Forza Horizon somehow, in a way that you could drive around this sort of compressed version of the planet or something, or like call it a race theme park, that you're driving around in sort of Forza Horizon style and having fun, but you can then get to Spa, you can get to Indianapolis or Daytona or wherever it is that you're going. So it'll be kind of cool if you could then, travel around the maps kind of like Horizon, and then when you get to these points, you're going to get to a place where you can actually do some track driving. But man, I really hope we don't lose Forza Motorsport. I really hope that there's some reason to revive it, or to bring it back, or to keep it alive would be, the first prize. But even if they shut this down now, it's going to be, I can't see them doing another Forza Motorsport for a very long time. And who knows what will happen with Forza Horizon from this point as well. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of that would be a little bit of a silver lining on what is ultimately a really crappy situation. A lot of people have lost their jobs, which suck. I think a lot of people are losing faith in Microsoft and Xbox. I think, I almost want to refer to Xbox and Microsoft as two completely different entities right now, because it feels like there are people at Xbox who want things to go the right direction, and Microsoft is just being Microsoft. So this has been a pretty bleak notebook, and it hasn't been my cheeriest video ever, but yeah, I'd like to hear what you think about this and what you think about the future of Forza Motorsport, Forza Horizon, and everything that's happening right now. I myself, not a fan, of course. So here's hoping that something can happen, and that this isn't the end of Forza Motorsport, but we can't know for sure. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button to let me know. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon.